This week on Catch Some SoulShine, I am joined by Carolyn Ulitsky, and we are co-authors in the book Radical Freedom. I'm all about living your life happy, joyous, and free. Carolyn has quite the story of going into that abyss of darkness and
Yeah,
then emerging and growing into this fulfilled soul. And she uses that to help other people. So I'm going to let you give a little introduction and then we will start our conversation.
great. Thank you. And thank you for inviting me on. I'm Carolyn Ulitsky, and I'm a body mind coach muscle therapist. Originally, I was trained to be a massage therapist, and I also have a corporate background. And then for the last 20 years, I have been building my practice of brick and mortar and also online to reach other people who are looking to understand what that pain is they're feeling. That is, I have the greatest joy helping people come out of pain and
Mhm.
understanding what that is so they can just let that go and go on to live a joyful life.
One of the practitioners that I work with, they call it now somatic healing. What that is, for people that don't quite understand it, is
Perfect.
exactly what you're doing. If I have a pain somewhere in my body, I sit with that pain and I
Yeah.
feel it. And I eventually, if I work through it, I can release it and discover what that pain was all about. I don't know if you're familiar with the book, The Body Keeps the Score.
Yes,
It's
we
all
tend to.
about PTSD, but
Yes.
the theory is the same. Our cells keep score,
Right.
and we hold on to these emotions, which translate into pain. After you started massage therapy, and you
Yes.
started working with people, is that what spurred you into going deeper with somatic work?
Only because I could feel what was going on under people's skin. And it's like there's more going on underneath. My training allowed me to tune in, learn intuition, and grow that for myself. I went for more training to
Mhm.
somatic pieces of it where we store, as human beings, we tend to store our feelings and then we want to go deal with them later. We forget and don't take time to unpack or de-armor, taking it down so we can feel. When they come into the office or I talk to them on the phone, they can take time for a moment, slow the pace down, and really begin to listen to the pain. Now, most people don't like pain whatsoever, but they're like, I want it gone. I really just want it gone. It's keeping me from doing my life. And we can just take a few moments to just sit with it, not judge it, not make anything of it, and be present. It will reveal itself. Most of the time, if we sit long enough, it will dissolve.
Mhm.
Sometimes body work is necessary because it's tied up in a knot. And if I just bring presence to it, and I can really press hard, but I don't really need to, when I just do enough of it and meet that pain point and resistance, it begins to dissipate. It's
Right.
such a beautiful sensation. People don't realize what was that gush? You just
No.
released some knots, got more blood flow, more lymphatics, and now
Mhm.
they can take a breath. Right?
Right.
It is
And,
a beautiful sensation.
when you are working with nursing, massage therapy, any kind of body work with people, hairdressers, they're
Yes,
working in this
in the
crown
hair,
chakra.
yes.
Our bodies, our cells
Yeah,
are made up of energy,
yes,
positive, negative energy.
yes.
So when you are working with somebody, it's really important that not only do you recognize some of that energy, but you have really healthy, solid boundaries. And I can remember when I was doing healing touch, grounding myself solidly before I would start working, visualizing myself as more of a conduit so that you don't give
Take it on.
away your energy or absorb that
That's
negative. People tend to forget that.
at times, people don't realize you can still be compassionate and detached, right? You don't need to be glommed onto that person to help them. All you're doing is witnessing and observing. So
Mhm.
that has been a long time process of learning because I do have hands on people. Remembering to stay grounded after each session, clearing, returning my energy, and regrounding. They come through quickly. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I can only imagine. It's such an important piece of the process. I've witnessed it when I go to get my hair done
Yeah.
and I'm watching some of the hairdressers and the one I go to, she's phenomenal. Like she's always upbeat and just
Yeah.
just doing her thing, but I've seen other hairdressers and they're like miserable and
Oh,
their feet are killing them and they're just
right.
so tired and I think that's an energy problem right
That's
there.
correct. You are absolutely correct because you're taking it on, don't even realize it. Even just that little bit of energy exercise,
Mhm.
everyone should know so they can
Yeah.
create that level of energetic boundary. Here.
I'm wondering if you want to share a little energy practice of grounding with anybody
Oh,
listening because it's something we can all use.
agreed. I can certainly do that. I would love to.
Yeah.
Let's take a moment, get settled in our chair, both feet on the ground, close our eyes, take some nice, easy breaths, nothing hard. Nice deep in and exhale. Begin to notice your feet, the base of the spine right where you're sitting. As you continue to breathe nice and easy. Imagine in your mind's eye and at the bottoms of your feet, roots, like roots of a tree. Those are your energetic roots, moving from the bottoms of your feet down into the earth, connecting to all of the plants and trees around where you're sitting. Let it communicate with you. They're just edging your energies down deep, deep into the Mother Earth, into the center. Breathe all the way down to your feet and into the roots. Notice your body feeling a little more heavy, connected to the chair, to the earth, and to your breath. Allow the earth to nurture your roots like she nurtures the roots of trees and flowers. With your brilliance and with your wisdom, reminding you of who you are in this grounded space. Keep breathing nice and easy as you follow the energies all the way back up your roots, into your feet, into your legs, into your pelvic bowl, in through your torso, organs, arms, hands, throat, and head. Breathing easy, feeling your connection to yourself, to your heart, and to the earth. Bring yourself gently back into the space. Notice the sounds around you as you return. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes.
That was beautiful.
Well,
Thank you so much for that.
you're
And
welcome.
I encourage people to save this podcast so you can listen to it over and over. That is such a powerful exercise. You did a
Thank you.
beautiful job.
I
I
appreciate that.
wanted to ask you, and this isn't always, but it's been my experience in doing these podcasts. So it's through pain or discomfort that we experience the most growth
Absolutely.
if we want to.
That's correct.
Would you be willing to share some of those dark moments that you went through and how you have, used that as a lesson for growth?
As we were talking earlier, doing my business and then having children, I have three adult daughters, and then being married for the second time. My second husband helped me raise my three daughters. At some point, we were no longer matched, meaning he wanted one thing and I wanted another. It took a while for me to come to terms with this wasn't working. I actually had to develop a benign tumor over my right ovary and to have that removed. It was a long recovery without doing anything. Of course, my parents was going, you need to go do something. So when they did, they had to actually come in and live with me because my ex-husband was actually going blind with retinitis pigmentosa and couldn't take care of me. It took 3 more years after that, in 2019, that we decided to mutually and amicably dissolve our relationship. It was hard because it was my second. He did help me raise my girls, and I turned everything over from doing therapy and whatever else. And the ache and the shame that came with, oh my God, we have to do this again. And who divorces a blind man, right? All the thoughts were, oh my God, everyone's going to see that. And she's being selfish. But behind the scenes, we had done everything and it just wasn't working. Once we parted, I helped him move and get him set up in his new place. Did therapy. I had friends I did Reiki, bars method with access consciousness, everyone and anything I could get the support to get really deep inside. It was a deep pain of failure.
Mm.
I thought I was in love, and I'm sure I was, but it was falling apart. The pain was so great. There were moments I had to cancel clients because I couldn't be present. It was hard to bring presence to that. The tumor was one thing, but to have a marriage and not know what it was going to, how I was going to manage and how my family was going to continue moving forward. At which point, after a couple of really great coaching groups, I decided to do a trip to Italy for the second time. First time with my mom, second time I went the next year, 2018, 2019. I decided to do a 17-day tour with Rick Steves. It was a great trip the first time. So this time I'm going by myself. I'll be safe with 25 other people. I decided to start in Venice, which I love. I landed in Venice. The next morning, I woke up to have breakfast and walk around the city. I walk outside and I feel the denseness of the humidity and the sun. As I'm walking around, I'm filled with all of this grief, sorrow that I did not expect. I had worked a lot throughout that year and I didn't realize there was one more piece. We were supposed to grow old together. The girls were supposed to go off and do their thing and we were to travel together. Here I'm traveling by myself. And the realization of that hit me hard. So I'm walking around Venice with my sunglasses, sobbing, going, what did I do wrong? Am I awful? Am I going to be alone? At which point I did reach out to a friend. And I sat in the piazza and I said, I need help. But she just listened. And then I sat and wrote, and I was allowed to just feel my heart break. I have never experienced it that way. I thought it broke before, but this was a whole nother dream. What I came up with when I helped write Radical Freedom was I had to untether myself from the dream of a full life with this individual. When I understood that the remainder of the trip was great, I still had all the different pieces throughout the 17 days, but that biggest breakthrough is the best way I can put it. And actually, a girlfriend joined me later. She goes, I'm going to join you guys. And I'm like, great. So she did join us last minute. And gratefully, she knows all the energetic work. She was going through some things. So between the two of us, traveling from different excursions to being back in our rooms, we were able to help each other process those pieces, be quiet with those pieces, but safely held, that I
Mm.
could silently sob or just be in that space. Being on that trip really helped me do that.
That's where that phrase "hold space for people" comes from.
Yeah.
It's like you're not trying to fix it,
No.
and you're not really pushing them to get out of that grief. You're just there, holding that space, loving people where they are,
Right.
maybe offering a little support. I love that phrase, and I didn't get it until I had a
You
lot of
had this
people holding space for
for
me.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, and then as you move through grief, for me, grief is woven into the fabric of my being, but it's not the same as it was. I can still have moments of grief,
Sure.
but it's not that heavy cloak chain weighing you down.
Right.
It's, "Oh, I see it. There it
Yeah.
is.
Yes.
Okay. I know what to do to
Yes.
help myself through it now."
That's right.
And so with this somatic part of your practice, do you often talk to people about their grief or what's going on? Have
Always.
them dig a little bit? We don't always get to I'm sure with the way they're not there very long and what have you, but you don't always get to figure that out with them.
Only if they want to. Most people at this stage of my practice know what they're coming into as far as this is not a regular massage. This is actual muscle therapy where
Yes.
we can go in, if you so desire, the spot where you're feeling the pain, trace it back, and you get to witness as you trace and track. My best example was on Friday, a longtime client, and he had
Mhm.
experienced a death in his family. And it has been 6 years, but he had resisted, even he was in his head. So he goes,
Yeah.
I'm good, I'm done. 3 years after that, he goes, what's going on with my foot? Or and I said, "Are you ready to work these pieces?" And he goes, "I am." So he goes, "I've not been wanting to move forward, basically, 'cause I thought I did that already." And I'm like, "Did you really feel the feels? Not think your feels, but feel them." And so we have been on a process for the last couple of years doing that. But last week was the best because he goes, "The pain is still here." And I'm like, "Is it really? Let's walk down where the pain is from the foot up your leg." And as I hit the different spots, because we did do this in person, it wasn't as painful and it wasn't the whole leg. We finally pinpointed
Mhm.
it to one, but he's been so used to the pain being so big and taking over most of his day, that's what he keeps relating it to. And so
Mhm.
it was more of stepping back and going, is this really the same pain as we had at the beginning? And he goes, okay, no. Okay,
Right,
let's recognize it. But it's really bringing that level of awareness that it isn't where it was debilitating. You couldn't walk, you could actually walk. But I said, the
right.
part of this for you is realizing we've made progress. And oh, okay, we have. So as
Yeah.
we move through those little pieces and each one unwinds, it's not the whole muscle either. It's just partial muscles that are just needing to be unwound with a gentle touch. He could feel it. Then we go up to his arm and shoulder and he goes, that still hurts. And I'm like, okay, remember, is it the same? So it's a matter of engaging in the questions. And
Mhm.
he's more open to it. A lot of usually his first is, this is not emotional. And I'm like, okay, if you think so. Of course, then I go, how's this feeling now? And he goes, again. And then he
Yeah.
starts crying because he goes, I'm tired of this. And I said, it's going little by little.
Mhm.
As we've unwound it, the two heavy spots that were really tight are down to one little finger point to where the pain is. It's just taken
Mhm.
more work. Coaxing. Are you ready to feel this? If I intuitively get a hit, a
Mhm.
picture or word will drop in. I see, I got this word. I'm going to throw it out there. You can either take it or not. See where it lands. Whenever I say the word, he goes, that totally landed. I says, can we sit here for a bit? Most of the time, I have enough time between my clients where there's enough space we can go there
Mm.
to those places.
We live in a society, we live in a culture where we want an immediate
Automatic. Oh,
fix.
yeah,
I'm going in for a massage, you're gonna get this knot out, I'm gonna feel
right.
better. That's really not how grief works.
No,
That's not how body somatic works. I've had lots of therapy, EMDR, reprogramming your brain. Your brain has pathways
that's right.
that are furrowed in there. Like
Yes,
you when you were talking about the pain, I was thinking about that. People experience pain and it's furrowed in that memory.
exactly.
It's our job as individuals to create new pathways. It's not one and done. You got to keep walking the path so that
Exactly.
you can furrow the new
A new one.
pathway.
Yes, exactly. A brand
Yeah.
new one. You're
Yeah.
right. With medicine today, it's like a quick pill. And a
Yeah.
lot of times people don't even realize that's just a mask to what you need to go. You're being invited to go a little bit deeper so you can
Mhm.
create that new neural pathway. That has to be reminded. When people come to me and I'm like, so how soon will this get done? How long have you noticed the pain? If you really think about it, the pain's been there a long time. People can tolerate far
Yeah.
more until you press in a little harder and it's, oh, I didn't realize it
Mhm.
was there.
Our brains are so powerful by guiding people to use that kind of thinking
That's
along
right.
with the massage brings it to a whole new level.
It
Like
does because it allows them to be in that space without too much push. Even though they
mhm,
want to push, and now I got that early on. Just get this over with. I've done
mhm,
that, and I don't do that anymore. When I push too hard, whether with my hands or having that harder conversation, there's a backlash.
mm,
End up feeling flu-like symptoms because we push too hard, too much
right.
coming out too fast.
After you had that life-altering experience in Italy, I've often said, it doesn't have to be this way, but for some reason with humans it
Yes,
is.
it does.
After we've had this deep pain or human experience
Yes.
is when things really
Open up.
shift and open up for us if we do the work. So what happened after that experience?
It was so big. I'm getting goosebumps. This other part of me really came forth, right? Talking about who I am, what I offer, not just as a healing provider, but as a person. My children were adults. I'm on my own. It was time to explore this creative side that is really starting to emerge now with all the other writing that I'm doing and going out and presenting myself as myself. That piece came out. I also did a dating workshop for 6 months. It wasn't meant to date, it was meant to date myself. And this particular coach, she goes, this usually takes about 8 weeks. And I said, I need 6 months. If I need more, we'll do more. It was a great way for me to just dive in and know myself. So that really opened the door for me
Mhm.
to date myself. And she goes, I picked the right group because she goes, yeah, take yourself on the dates, all the little pieces, you buy yourself the flat, all the things that you would want someone to do for you, you do for yourself. By doing that, I became my own best friend. It was beautiful to really shine, open myself up because I've always been a mom, a wife, a daughter. I never really took time to explore those parts in me.
Yeah.
And so I
I'll
was
tell you what,
super excited.
maybe a year and a half ago, I went on my first solo vacation all by myself, not with a
Yes!
group,
Nope.
nothing. I just like my sister's, "Who's going with you?" I go,
Nobody.
"Me."
Yeah, just me.
She goes, "What are you gonna do?" I go, "I'm just gonna relax and make art and go eat." So I went to Florida all by myself. Best vacation. I enjoy vacationing with my husband, don't get me wrong, but I
Yourself.
had never done that, and I was like, "How lucky am I to have discovered that self-love, radical self-love. I can go to a restaurant, a movie, the beach. I
Yes.
can do whatever I want by myself."
Yes. That was my experience. I drove from California to Arizona to meet
Yeah.
friends. Same thing. "You're driving by yourself?" "Yeah, I can do this by myself." I did back and forth. Had a great time. That solitude.
I love having time to myself and no responsibilities. I'm a mom, a grandma, I'm a wife, a daughter, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And just taking that little bit, if you have never gone on a solo vacation, here's your sign. It was one of the most liberating things
That's
after Bradley passed away. I was in bed and I didn't want to get out of bed. And it was maybe a month before Christmas. And I didn't wanna put up decorations. I got up, I did some meditation, talked to Brad, and I said, "I know you're okay. I'm so sad." Then I went downstairs, and for some reason, I decided to clean the picture window, and I thought, I'll just put up the tree." And this blue jay flew on a branch right in front of the window and stared at me. What in the world is going on? A blue jay? I thought, I should be seeing a cardinal. I couldn't even get my phone or camera out long. It was just that moment. So I
you
looked
knew.
up the spirit
Mhm.
meaning of the blue jay. It was Brad through and through. He was a huge debater, very protective, and I knew that was my sign. When I talked to him, I said, "Just give me a sign, just something." So when I went on this solo vacation, I took a walk through the neighborhood where I was staying, and I must have seen 7 blue jays sitting in the trees
So you
on
got your
this little
message.
walk. If you
Yes.
are open to receive,
Yeah.
you get messages from beyond.
I have one more
Mhm.
story. When you said that, it reminded me that opening of myself, I was really beginning to own my gifts as a healing practitioner and just realizing there are things I can see, feel, and hear that most people don't know. And I don't share it unless it shows up. I was dating this gentleman, and this huge Native American shows up in the middle of the room and in the living room. And I'm like, okay, here's my moment. I can either hide and not say anything or go, this is what I'm seeing. He'll either like me or not like me. I said, you have this huge Native American woman in the middle of your living room. And he looked at me and I'm like, there's a crow out your window and someone from the other side that wants to talk to you. Yet I could have held it and not said anything, but I'm like, this is my moment. If I can't own it and share it, and this person can't accept me, we aren't meant to continue moving forward. That was a determining moment for continuing or not for me. That was to really
Huh,
go, I do see these things, I hear these things, and most people are usually open. I do get some when they come on the table, but sometimes they're not. I feel it out and decide. That was
yeah.
huge for me.
I believe we all have intuitive powers like that, but it's only of us that are willing to go deep and tap into those. Fear prevents people. Oh, I didn't see that. I didn't
Well,
hear
yeah.
that.
And
Like,
that continued. I think the whole
yeah, you
thing picked
do.
me up everywhere, and a few other clients I had
Yeah.
that happen. Now I had clients slash friends do that, and it's can't make this stuff up. It just shows up. They're
Well,
open or not.
as you continue this journey, and we are in this group together, you are expanding,
I
growing.
am
We're always growing,
absolutely.
never still. You have this brick and mortar place, but what's your vision of the future?
Continuing my brick and mortar. If I said anything different, my clients would probably not be very happy. I love brick and mortar and building my community, but I'm also looking to expand online or I do actually have clients in other places to continue that and
Yeah.
spread that kind of space and love for people to explore deeper parts in them. That's
Mhm.
what I'm here to
That's
do.
beautiful because it is needed. And I think we can ripple that out. And
Absolutely.
I know with the healing touch practice, the Reiki practice,
Mhm.
you can do that energetic
Anywhere.
work
Yes.
anywhere, just like the grounding
Yes.
exercise with us.
Thank you.
If people did that with us, could
S
feel the
Yes.
grounding, the energy, a complete shift. I see that for you.
You.
You offer people a lot. Follow Carolyn.
Yes.
I'm gonna have her links to her social media in the show notes, but you wanna tell them what that
Sure.
is?
On Facebook, it's no, Instagram, Soma Wise, SOMAWISE. M as in Mary, T as in Tom for muscle therapy. That's it for Instagram. And then
Okay.
it's somawisemt.co for my website.
So, yeah, look her up. Although she does have the brick and mortar,
We're adding a new link.
there's more opportunity to work with her in the future. So,
Absolutely.
I really appreciate you being here with me today. If you're listening, I hope you have taken something with you. Save this podcast because grounding exercise we did in the middle was fire. I look forward to talking to you again and your business growing and helping people.
Thank
Share
you.
this podcast with a friend that might need it.
Yay!
Subscribe, like all the good things.
All of it. Thank you
Yes.
so much.
We'll see you next week on Catch Some Soul Shine.